Guys, welcome to my kitchen. This is a frustrating place to be the last couple of weeks. Absolutely nothing has worked. Nothing is compositionally makes me happy. Nothing color-wise makes me happy. It's just the way it is. And I think part of it is that I should be doing other things. And so the paints are going to work against me, which is I think it's a sign that I should be out getting stuff cleaned up for summer. Anyway, let's try this one more time. I'm going to do some form of a modified bloom pour. Paynes Gray. Y'all like Paynes Gray. Permanent Violet. I'm painting on the 10 by 10 vinyl tile. Kind of a wood grain. It has a bit of a wood grain. You guys can't see this. This is white satin enamel by Bear, not Deco Art, and mixed with a little bit of Modern Masters Pearl to give it a little bit of a softer look. Okay, let's do it. Let's do some lime. Let's do lots of lime. And a tiny bit of Interference Red. Black Cell Mix, you guys. So I have to tell you my story, which I have actually tried to tell you guys for the better part of a week, but like I said, I haven't posted any videos, as you all know, because I wasn't happy with anything. So while I'm talking, I'm just going to blow this out. Okay, we'll give that a second and let it pop back. That's interesting that my green and yellow, green and white mixed makes yellow. So it's garden season, and every summer I tell myself the same thing at the end of the summer, that I'm not going to let the garden, I'm going to clean the garden up. I'm just not going to ignore it like I normally do. And every year at the end of summer, I look out the window and I think, oh, I'm so tired of gardening. I'll do it in the spring. So spring is rapidly approaching, and I have new growth coming up under old growth that I haven't removed from the garden yet. So it is time for me to embark on the great garden cleanup. So the other day I was sitting out in the yard on the back steps, just kind of surveying the yard and determining what I was going to do and where I was going to move things and what I need to thin and what I need to trim back. And I have this hummingbird that comes up to the feeder and kind of stares at me, like right in my face stares at me. I thought, well, that's kind of cool. And that was it. So I decided that one of the things that I needed to trim back, popsicle stick, guys. One of the things I needed to trim back was branches from the neighbor's cedar tree, and they cross over one corner of my property, and I know I'm allowed to cut them because they're on my side, and I have new neighbors moving into that house. So rather than greet them on their first kind of week of occupancy with a chainsaw cutting down part of their tree, I thought I'll just go out and trim these branches before they move into their new home. So out I go last week with my snippers and all the things I need to trim down these branches. And I'm not out in the yard 5 minutes, and out here comes this hummingbird again, or a hummingbird. And it's bugging, and it's in my face, and it's flying around, and it's zooming straight up in the air, and it's coming straight down. And I'm talking, it's in my face, in my face. It's like I'm shooing it to get it out of my face. I'm thinking, okay, this is just bizarre. This is like kind of way more than the normal territorial kerfluffle that they make sometimes. So I started looking around, and I found her nest. And it's so cool. It's less than 5 feet from the ground, which is quite unusual apparently, but it's easy for me to see in the nest, and it is the most incredible piece of work that I have seen out of nature. It's absolutely amazing. The she builds her hummingbird nest, her nest, and she decorates it. I found this all out in the internet. I had to come in and Google it because I know nothing about hummingbirds, but Google knows everything. So I had to come in, Google it, got all of my information off of Google. So Google tells me that hummingbirds are noted for decorating their nests. And this little one has taken the lichens from the trees, and they're in varying shades of gray, grays and blacks and white. And it has a very floral feel to it. It's absolutely amazing what she's done. It's really quite lovely. And so I started kind of nosing around. I thought, well, I don't really want to disrupt her, so I'll go back in a couple of days, which is what I have done. So now I get to be a part of this little one and her happy little brood. I'm going to just move you guys a tiny bit closer, I think. Better. And I get to watch her and follow along. So what I've learned from my friend Google is that hummingbirds have 2 eggs. They don't receive any help from the male once the eggs are laid, and they look after their clutch of eggs by themselves. So 2. She has 2 eggs. They're the cutest little things, like I said, you've ever seen. They're like little white jelly beans. And she's this hyper-vigilant little mom sitting on her nest, and she creates a lot of commotion when you go near her, but now she's gotten to the point where she realizes that I'm not going to do her any harm, so she just kind of looks at me, and I look at her and enjoy her from fairly close proximity. But the inside of her nest was white, and it's perfect. It's smooth, and it's absolutely perfect. I thought, well, what is that? How'd she do that? So I carried on reading my Google story, and it turns out that they collect spiderweb silk, and they weave the spiderweb silk with their beaks. They weave it all into their nest and compact it all down so that 1, it's durable and it will withstand the weather because it's like a stretchy elastic, and 2, it will expand. So as these babies grow, the spiderweb silk allows for the nest to expand and get bigger, which I thought was genius. And kudos to the mama hummingbird that has found a practical use for spiders other than to creep me out in the yard. So yay to mama hummingbirds. So I'm super excited. I take a lot of bird pictures, a lot of bird photography, and so to have this happening in my yard at a level I can reach is super cool. I'm super pumped. So gardening has taken priority over painting, or should be, and of course we all know it's income tax time, and that should have some bearing on what I'm doing too. But yeah, today I'll paint. Today we will paint, my friends. Tomorrow I'll get back to doing practical things. At least my paints are strong in this picture. The last couple ones I've done, my paints just haven't reacted the way I want them to react, and I don't like them when they're not kind of pounded in there for saturation. I like everything strong and bold and saturated. I don't like them when they break up, and yeah, sometimes it takes me a little bit of time to get my paints all functioning the way I like them. So yeah, I got some freebies, and they're not, you know what, I have my normal paints that I use, and I just know exactly how much to add, and when I switch brands of paint, sometimes it does take a little bit of time. So I lucked out though. I wound up with 40 12 by 12 ceramic tiles for the best price ever, free. I was super pumped about that. And I got 2 gallons of banana cream pie paint and a gallon of white for 20 bucks. So yeah, it pays to be thrifty. I'm not gonna say cheap, it's thrifty. I need to do something in here. Need to just kind of bring some color into here. So yeah, it's not my normal brand of paint. It's not Beauty Tone. It is a Bear paint though, which is a quality paint from, I think Home Depot sells Bear. But it doesn't work exactly the same. So I do have to fiddle and fart around with it. Then when I mess with the center, I like these kind of funky white cells in this little band of purple. You guys might not be able to see it, but I'll bring you in a little bit closer in a couple minutes here. Yeah, who can complicate things as much as me? We should do a challenge. Who can make the most complicated modified bloom? Because I get right into this little space of playing with paint, and yeah, when I'm finished, it's like, oh my goodness, it's not nowhere near what it even started as. But it's definitely fun. It's fun to watch the colors kind of morph into each other. Okay guys, I'm going to stop this right here. I'm going to shut off my overhead light. I'm going to bring you down and show you all the little details. I may carry on detailing this, but I've had such a disaster with videos and interruptions and spilled paint, dropped glasses, you name it. I've done it in the last week. So I'm going to bring you over while this is still a success. I may play with it a little bit more, just add a few little curly cues, but basically it's going to remain the way it is. And I'm going to thank everybody for coming and hanging in the kitchen with me this morning. There it is, my friends. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me, listening to my hummingbird story. I know not everybody's as excited about a hummingbird as me, but I'm definitely pumped about the new arrivals. And there we go, my friends. So that's it. One modified bloom on a 10 by 10 vinyl floor tile. All right, you guys, pour happy, stay safe. We'll talk really, really soon.